Once again, the Hub is the happening place to be this year for you looking to take your career to the next level. There are endless resources and opportunities. Domingo, great to see you again this year.
How are you?
So great. So
Good.
much going on here at the Hub again this year. What can you tell us?
So the most important thing is to remember all these resources that are available to them. The idea, this one is probably the hottest one we have right now for our members, is the trust building campaign. Because you know, without trust in the community, with law enforcement, it doesn't work.
There's no progress.
And then you'll see on the other side we have violent crime. Well, you can't address violent crime in the community if you don't first build trust.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You'll never be able to get the citizens to work with you. And then, as we'll see as we walk through the Hub,
all right, let's check it out.
We got a variety of different things. In this area here, we're going to have quick hits. So 20-minute presentations on a variety of topics and everything you can imagine that law enforcement needs to know.
All right.
In addition, resources that I mentioned, we got the intersection is a new one this year, intersection of police, public health and policing, because we're recognizing that there's a lot of similarities, you know, when you think of violent crime and what a doctor deals with, what a nurse, that public health piece. We need public health professionals to work with cops.
That's interesting. So you're really bringing together a lot of the same problems that are faced by both of the professions.
Exactly. And what are they? They're community problems. They're not just law enforcement, they're community problems. So, you know, health in the community is a public health, but it's also a policing issue. Officer safety and wellness, it's a health issue, right?
Yep.
So looking at how these converge together is what we're trying to do.
Wonderful. All right, and so what else have we got here? What about for people looking to get some professional development and some leadership training?
So in the Hub, you'll also find the opportunity to do mock interviews and resume writing. We have an experienced staff. We have a unit in IACP. That's all they focus on is professional development. As it says over here on one of the stanchions, leadership service. Right. Because at the end of the day, they're going to aspire to be a leader in their agency, a chief of police, what it might be. So this is the reason we call it the Hub, is the hub of activity of all the resources. One thing, Andrea, I would say that I think is extremely important for our members to know, everything we develop is for the field, by the field. It's not staff in the office developing these resources. We need the input. It has to be real to the field.
That is so key. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, Domingo, thanks so much for sharing with us today. Always great to see you.
Thank you so much.
Enjoy your time here in the Hub.
I shall do that. Have a great day.
All right, so Jim, if you're somebody who is looking to take their career to the next level, maybe you want to apply for that chief job, what should be the first focus when it comes to taking that next step in your profession?
So if you're looking internally, an internal candidate in a police department, you want to demonstrate that you're invested in the agency and you're invested in the community, and that there's an understanding that your role as a chief is to serve the community. So are you invested in the community? That's the place I look for first. If it's an internal candidate. If it's an external candidate coming into an agency, I think they really need to understand, are they the right fit for that agency at that moment in time of what that agency needs to move forward.
From the opposite perspective, if you're somebody who's responsible for maybe elevating somebody to the level of chief, what are you looking for as a hiring manager?
Yeah, I would be looking for, again, investment. Like, they've made the investment in the agency, they've worked to improve themselves, they've built relationships internally, externally, and they're willing to do that as the chief. The one thing I would say is it's hard to say exactly what those characteristics are, because every agency at a given time has a different need. And so you try to fit that person to the needs of the agency.
Final question for you, how important is it for that candidate to have already shown proven leadership abilities?
That's what you're looking for. No, you can't show up the day you're interviewing and say, I'm invested in the agency, if you haven't been invested in the agency, or I'm invested in the community when you haven't demonstrated that you're invested in the community.
Great advice.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
How do you manage agency culture, and how much of a role does agency culture play in someone's career trajectory?
Well, it has a lot to do with having an understanding what the culture is in the organization. You need to be able to understand the organization, manage that organization perspective. So when you're looking at organizational culture, one of the things you want to really look at is how do we manage those expectations? Being able to listen, understanding the unwritten rules in the organization as well. There are the written rules and policies and procedures, but we have to listen for those unwritten things that impact culture as well.
And you have a session coming up where you're going to be talking specifically about that.
Yes, we do. On Monday, we'll be talking about organizational culture, how to manage it, how to actually thrive, get promoted, and be seen within that organization and understand the culture itself. This is actually going to be in a convention center classroom itself, and then we'll have a follow-up at the hub as well.